Hey, what's up guys? Emo Cat Dad here, hanging out with you, bringing you yet another edition of Emo Cat Dad Listens. If you're new here, first off, thanks for stopping by. What I have vowed to do is every day of 2024, I have vowed to check out a new band or artist. I check out 4 songs from across their discography, give you my initial thoughts on the songs, give you my ranking of the songs, and then of course my overall thoughts on the artist. Today's artist, as you can see right there, is Jonathan Young. This was a suggestion from a viewer, and I wasn't told too much, so I basically pulled him up on Spotify, seen he had a decent number of listeners, and was like, oh, okay, so this guy's pretty popular, I wonder why I hadn't heard about him. And then kind of quickly scrolling through his albums and singles, it was a lot of collaborations and covers, which normally I try not to do covers, but I think with this one, it's a foregone conclusion. Usually doing these things, I usually like to follow the timeline of the artists so I can kind of see their growth as well. But that was just going to be too time consuming for Jonathan Young since he's got so many just random pop-up singles. So I opted to just kind of pick and choose based on what I saw in his Spotify top songs. So that's what I did. I did start off with his most streamed song, Unravel, full version. So I'm assuming, given the number of streams this one has, it's an older track. But let's check it out. Okay, so earlier on, I was just like, not digging the vocals. Like, I wasn't vibing with it. I was like, oh, that's interesting that this is so popular. But then as the song went on, especially once it picked up, then I was able to see it. And I was like, oh, okay, I get what he's going for here, and he showed a bunch of different vocal styles, some of which he was really strong in, and honestly, it made me forget that my first instinct was, ooh, don't love these vocals. Musically, the song was really strong throughout. It had kind of like a metal bass, but it used a lot of electronics throughout, and I like me some electronics in my metal music specifically, so really dug it. Alright, next up I listened to what is currently number 1 in his most popular on Spotify, Santiana. Okay, so this track does have Jonathan Young as the main artist, or one of the main artists I should say, but it has a ton of vocal features. Or at least I assume they're all vocal features. Maybe there's one random musical feature, but in any event, all the vocal features sounded good, or at least as good as they can be. The reason I say that is because this is a pirate-themed track. And not gonna lie, I find pirate metal pretty cringe. You guys like what you like. You want to listen to Ailstorm, whatever other Europeans that play power metal with eye patches. It doesn't do anything for me. But the solo in this track was pretty rad. Alright, so I'm going to try to avoid the pirate stuff from here on out. So the next track is Children of Night. Okay, this is, I wouldn't call it piratey. It's got like kind of that same tone. But, I don't know, like maybe more Phantom of the Opera metal? Is that a genre? If not, it should be, because that's where this would slot in. I did like the guitar solo on the last track. There is another one here, but I didn't like it as much. It kind of got buried with the drumming. Now, I don't like guitar solos that are just guitar, but I just felt the drumming was too up in the mix. It kind of took away from the solo itself. This one, again, has a few features. The most famous of which, or at least to me, is the band 3 Days Grace. It was a vocal feature on a verse, I believe it was. It was pretty solid. I haven't really listened to too much new 3 Days Grace, so I can't say for certain whether it holds up, but I definitely enjoyed it at least. Okay, had to scroll quite a ways through to find another track that didn't seem to be a cover based on, you know, name alone, and that was also Jonathan Young as the main artist. But I did eventually find one called Devil with the Heart of Iron. Okay, so according to the track name, this is inspired by Baldur's Gate 3, which is a game that I've never played because I don't really play games much. Vocally, I gotta say, this is probably the best Jonathan Young has sounded from start to finish. This is kind of just like bardcore music. So there's not a whole lot going on musically. It was interesting. I don't think I've heard anything that I've ever called bardcore before. So definitely enjoyed it. But because the music is so like simple and not a whole lot going on, then I think he knew the vocals really had to shine, and kudos to him, they did. All right, so those were the 4 tracks I checked out. Let's go ahead and rank them. Starting with number 1, Unravel. This song, vocally, I really enjoyed. It wasn't my favorite vocally, but the music in this one was definitely by far my favorite. So that combination definitely gets it into the top spot. 2 and 3 are tough. I enjoyed both these songs. I think I'll give Devil with the Heart of Iron the second spot, only because vocals are usually so important to me, and I'm pretty sure this was a wholly original song based on, you know, the video game. And then that puts Children of Night at 3. No issues whatsoever with the song overall. I dug the feature. You know, that solo got covered up a little bit, but no big deal. I would have rather probably just seen Jonathan Young's different vocal styles in the mix like the previous 2 tracks did. But all in all, like I said, not a bad song. Really did quite enjoy it. At 4, Santiana. No surprise here. I said pirate metal makes me cringe, so for my personal liking, this one just ain't it. But people seem to dig it, and in fact, he, based on the song titles, had a lot of pirate theme songs, so maybe that's his bread and butter, and I'm missing out. You guys let me know in the comments. Alright, so that was my ranking. My overall thoughts on Jonathan Young is vocally, I don't think you can get any more talented than this. The different styles he showcases throughout these tracks, very impressive. Personally, I want him to tone down the pirateness of it all, but I don't think that's going to happen. It seems to be something that he enjoys doing and that his listeners like listening to. So kudos to him for finding that lane and that audience and giving them what they want. Alright guys, that does it for me. I'm your friendly neighborhood Emo Cat Dad. I appreciate you making it to the very end of this video. Jonathan Young was a... So please get to the comments and suggest more to me. Whether they're bands or artists, or maybe it's someone that does video game inspired songs. My nephew's big into rocket music, so should I do a video on them? Should I do a video on another one? Let me know in the comments below. Also, while you're down there, I want you to be a part of the conversation. Are you a pirate metal fan? Are you listening to this video thinking, this guy's crazy, how can he not like this? Let me know in the comments. Let's have a conversation. And let me know what your favorite Jonathan Young cover is. I seen the Moana one had a ton of streams. I didn't want to listen to that. I've heard too many covers of that song that honestly I probably would just compare it. It wouldn't have been much of a first listen thoughts kind of thing. We are on the last episode before the big episode number 100. So there's lots of backlog videos if you want to go back and check those out. If you don't, because that's a big undertaking, I get it. I wouldn't want to either. But instead, why don't you just come along for the ride for the next 200 plus while I get to December 31st. And the best way to do that is if you cut my wrists and hit subscribe. Emo Cat Dad signing off until tomorrow. I want to hear you sad.